As we're learning more about Pig and Pig Latin, we're going to cover a couple of core concepts so that you can make quick use of this framework. The first set of concepts is around how Pig represents data, and it's pretty simple. So it has fields, which is a single piece of data, a tuple, which is a set of fields, like a key and a value, for example, and a bag, which is a collection of tuples. So multiple sets of keys and values. And you can see how this aligns nicely with the MapReduce paradigm, because as you'll remember from the sections on MapReduce, the output from the mappers and the reducers is a single tuple and then a set of tuples, which is a bag. Pig also has the concept of a relation, which is a complete database. It's just a little bit different than the idea of a relation in the relational database world. That obviously is the relation between the data in tables. So in the Pig world, a relation is a complete database. I wanted to call it out here. Another important concept in the Pig world, because I really think of it as a dump truck for processing data, is to filter. So I wanted to take a minute to talk about filtering. It's a really, really common methodology in working with Pig scripts. So the syntax of filtering is you filter some set by some value. So it's like a where clause, but it's just out of the relational world, but you use the word filter. It's really very similar, and for those of us that come from the relational world, it's simple and natural to use. It supports all of the operators that we're used to in terms of the logical operators. They work the same way, as well as the relational operators. So I just called them out here. It just helps you get very productive very quickly with the Pig language to understand that there's very good compatibility with ANSI SQL here. Another aspect of the Pig language is a very rich function library. Now, when I was talking about Hive earlier, I cautioned you to look at which aspects of HQL were supported as it relates to the superset of ANSI SQL. In Pig, what I find is Pig actually has more functions than what you find in ANSI SQL. So it's kind of the other way. They have pretty much everything I've seen there plus more. So I called some of them out here. And again, depending on the type of data manipulation, the type of ETL processes you're doing, you're going to want to dig into these function libraries. Rather than killing yourself trying to write something manually, you might be surprised that the function already exists. So I put the top-level categories here just so you can get an understanding of what function libraries are available. So there's the general or standard, and you have average, min, max. I did call out tokenize. Tokenize is a function that I'm going to show you in a demo coming up, and what it does is it splits words. So it splits text into words. It's a really useful function when you're analyzing string-based or text data. And it's much simpler, I think, than the Hive implementation I showed you in an earlier movie. So these functions are available and really commonly used. There's a set of relational functions. I showed you filter. I also want to call out that because this is a superset, there are functions like MapReduce, where you can actually call a MapReduce job from within a Pig script. It's kind of interesting because you might think it would go the other way, that you'd call a Pig job from within MapReduce. But nope, you have a Pig script, and then you have a MapReduce job, usually written in Python or Java, that you can call, which is sort of like a super powerful aspect of a Pig script. So again, it's a different way of thinking about an ETL process, kind of stringing these things together, but very, very commonly done in production situations when you're processing these huge amounts of behavioral data and getting them down to something useful. You, of course, have also string functions that you'd expect, things like uppercase, lowercase, substring. That's pretty standard stuff. You have your math functions, absolute value, logarithmic functions, rounding. And then you have a unique set of functions around loading and storage. I called out here the JSON loader because there's more and more JSON data coming from the web. There's also some functions around compression that can really make your Pig workflows run more quickly. So again, I really advise as a tip, if you're working with production level ETL Pig scripts, that you take the time to investigate the function library. If in Pig, the functions that are presented are either not sufficient or not performant, Pig also includes the idea that you can write your own functions. Now, this is a very advanced topic. However, I have used this functionality in working with production customers, so I wanted to mention it here. The idea is that if you do not get adequate performance out of a Pig-defined function, you can write your own. So if you're doing that, you're going to need to write the function, register the function. I highly recommend you test the function under load, and the functions can be written in Java or Python, and then they can be combined as part of your Pig workflow.